Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about the best and worst Patrick Ta products. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. I've tried a lot of products from Patrick Ta, and for the most part I think he can do no wrong. There are some products I haven't yet tried. I haven't tested out the mascara yet, or any of his brow products, or his eyeliners. Those are the three categories I have not tried yet, but I have tried everything else. So I thought we would talk about those today, and I thought we would do this in more of a ranking style. So coming at number 10 is his newest product. This is the Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. I don't like this. So I did a full wear test on this, and I've tried it several times since, and I don't like this product. I just don't. I really wanted to. The cream is fine if you do a very sheer coverage. If you try to build it up to medium, I find it feels very heavy on the skin. If you do more of a lighter layer, it does end up feeling pretty nice and lightweight. But once you add that powder, for me, on my dry skin, this just settled into every single pore, and it was entirely unflattering on my skin. So I really did not like this product, and I've tried it several times since in many different ways, and I just cannot make myself love this. So unfortunately, this is the one product from his line that I can't work with. I'm really hoping he does come out with more of a liquid foundation. I would love to try that. This I love because it's very on brand for the products that he's come out with so far, but the product itself just did not work for me. Coming in at number 9, I put his Precision Lip Crayon, and I have the shade She's Hard to Get. So this is actually a nice lip liner. This is a very bright pink shade. The component is beautiful. It is a click up, and I think that's one of the things I don't like, is that obviously once you push it up you cannot get it back down. I also just really think the shade range on his lip liners is so limited. I think there's 2 red shades, there's one very nude, there is a bright pink, and I think there might be a really deep shade, I think. So I just find that very limited, and I would love to see more of an expansion into the lip products. I would also say this is a little bit on the waxy side. It is quite long wearing, and because of the shape of the tip, you can really kind of line, or you can fill in the lips a lot easier. But overall, I just think mostly I would love to see him expand on the shade range just a little bit. Otherwise, this is fine. The component's beautiful, but there are lip liners I like a lot more. Coming in at number 8 is his newest lip gloss formula, and this is the Major Volume Plumping Gloss. So this is in the shade 2cc's, and on one hand I like this. I like the tube. I think the tube is beautiful. The shade is beautiful. It comes with this really giant doe foot, which is fine, but it does smell kind of strongly like cinnamon hearts, and I just don't like that at all. That scent really bothers me, so that's part of why this ranked a little bit lower. This is supposed to be a plumping gloss, so it does have a bit of a tingle to it, so that's another thing I don't super love. But for me, it's mostly just that smell is a bit overwhelming. Also, I do find this to be a little bit more on the stickier side, and I really hate things that are sticky. So this just isn't my favorite from his line. It's not bad. I will use it, but it's not my favorite. Now we're getting into the part where it's getting hard to rank. So coming in at number 7 is the Major Dimension Eyeshadow Palette. So this is the first one he came out with, and this is a really nice palette, incredibly neutral, but it is very beautiful. The formula is fine. It's a good formula. It's really expensive though. That's one thing. His line is incredibly expensive, but these palettes are insanely high priced. I do find some of these mattes to be just a little bit chunky as well, which I don't love. I think the formula on this is good. It's just not nearly as good as the formula on his newest palette. So that's why I did place this one a little bit lower. It's still an excellent palette. It's just I think once he came out with this one, then he worked on perfecting the formula. So that's why this one is ranked a little bit lower. Coming in at number 6 is one of the very first products I fell in love with from the brand. This is the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I have the shade She's Statuesque, which is the lightest one. I think he may have only come out with 3, which I don't think is ideal, but I will say, so you get a cream contour and a powder bronzer. The contour is honestly gorgeous. I think if you're not as fair as I am, this might pull a little bit too gray, but for me, this is the perfect contour shade. I love the way it blends. It looks so good on the skin. It really, really makes the face look so sculpted. So I really do love the cream contour. I find the bronzer to be a little bit too warm for my taste. So that is why this one is ranking just a little tiny bit lower than I otherwise would. If it was just the contour, this would probably be ranking very, very high. But it's just that that bronzer doesn't get the most use because it is a little bit too warm, and that's just not what I tend to go for my bronzers. Coming in at number 5, I decided to put his original lip gloss formula. This is the Major Glow Lip Shine Glosses. So the tube is a little thinner, a little taller. I had the shade She's Expensive, so it's really just a really pretty pearly champagne shade. And this is really, really nice. So you do get a much smaller doe foot with this one. It has a little bit of a scent, but it's more like a makeup scent. It kind of reminds me of Lip Smackers, if I'm being honest, but it gives such a really pretty shine to the lips. It doesn't burn, it's not at all sticky, so I really, really do appreciate that. I think this original lip gloss formula is so, so, so beautiful. It's definitely one of my favorite glosses in my collection, so I think that really speaks volumes as well. Coming in at number 4, I decided to place the Monochrome Moment Velvet Blushes. So I had the shade She's Passionate. So this is just a basic powder blush. This is a really pinky peach shade. It's beautiful. It goes with everything. It's so nice on the skin. It's pigmented, but it's not so pigmented where it's easy to just go overboard. I really, really love this one. I think it's so beautiful. I have nothing bad to say about this at all. I also find it very long wearing, and this is definitely one of my favorite blushes in my collection. So coming at number 3 is one of my very favorite products from the brand, and this is his lipstick, and I had the shade Oh She's Single. This is one of my very favorite new lipsticks in my entire collection. So the component of this is beautiful. It's very luxe. It looks very high-end. So it's really just this really beautiful brownie nude. It goes with everything. I really, really love this lipstick, and this one was one that I was inspired to buy because I always see Brianna Fox reaching for it for her looks, and she did not let me down with that recommendation. I really, really love this lipstick. I reach for it all the time. The one thing I will say is, much like my complaint with the lip liners, I find the shade range to be way too limited. So I don't love that. So that's the one thing I'll say, but I would really love to see him expand on his lipstick line as well. At number 2, I have put the Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duos. So I had the shade She's That Girl. So this one has a cream blush and a powder blush, and he recommends that you do this one a little bit backwards than what you would think. Typically we would go in with the cream and top with the powder. He recommends going in with the powder and topping with the cream on this one, and it really, really does work for making the blush last forever. This blush lasts all day long. I love how it looks on the skin. I love how pigmented it is, and I love this shade in particular. This is just such a beautiful baby doll pink blush shade. I love this. The duo itself I find to be quite unique, and the formula is just gorgeous. So I can't recommend this enough. Of course, you can go in with just the cream, you can go in with just the powder, but either way you're gonna get a really beautiful look, and I really, really love these blushes. I would love to expand and get more shades of these duos. And coming in at number 1 is my very, very favorite product from the brand, and this is the new Major Dimension 2 Rose eyeshadow palette. So I did mention earlier, I mentioned his original Major Dimension eyeshadow palette, but this one is better. So what does make these palettes unique is the cream shadows down here. But with this one, I just find that he really perfected the formula. So the formula in the first one was fine. The formula in this one is so much better. The mattes are so blendable and creamy. The shimmers really aren't very chunky. They are chunkier shimmers than perhaps some on the market, but they're so beautiful and so shiny when you put them on the lids. They just look absolutely stunning, and they almost feel wet to the touch. It's almost kind of like a cream shadow. They're not, but it almost feels that way. So I have to say, this is my favorite product he has ever come out with. I love this palette. I love creating rosy pinky tone looks with this. This is my favorite go-to palette for those types of looks, just because it performs so well. So this is definitely my very favorite of the brand, and that is it. That is my ranking, my best and worst of the brand. I obviously do really want to try out the mascara, and I've heard good things about his brow products, so I'd be interested to try those as well. I don't think it's worth it to spend a fortune on a brow pencil, but I do kind of want to try the brow gel. Let me know down below what your favorite product from the brand is. I would love to hear it, and that is it for me today. Thank you again so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!